This is a campus, but there aren't any students who apply. Instead, entrepreneurs try to get in.
When they walk in the door, there is this tendency, where do I sign? How do I join?
EcoHub is a green business cluster where green-focused businesses, from the startup phase to the publicly traded level, work side by side.
When you can have a really unique startup that's in the travel industry, or they develop websites or certain things that are focused on green, and they can go to these higher tech companies and collaborate with the same folks on the same level. It adds a more dynamic approach to business development, product and research development, marketing, management, and even sometimes finding money. So that's what we're really trying to do with this new business. It's the type of business that has never been done before, where you cross a traditional incubator with a co-working facility.
This means EcoHub is a for-profit entity with a stake in the success of all companies on campus.
That's the reason why 99% of incubators are nonprofits, is because they get grant money, they pay themselves nice salaries, they go out and beg for free buildings, and if they help a company succeed, great. If it doesn't succeed, no big deal. We will just keep turning them over, and that's not how you innovate in an economy like this.
Yves had to think creatively. In order for EcoHub to work as a for-profit business, he would need to get real estate developers to buy into green businesses, a group that's never understood the green movement.
I talked to some local real estate investors who had their money in all kinds of projects, and I gotta tell you, it was too funny. I had one investor say, "What are you gonna do, paint it green?" And he was dead serious. So we actually had to form an organization to educate investors, and that was called the Eco Investment Club.
The Eco Investment Club started in 2005 and attracted entrepreneurs, investors, and those curious about the green movement and the money it was making.
The club really just fed the EcoHub business plan more and more and more.
And did you know that? Did you start with the club knowing that it was going to get to that?
I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. It was a hobby when I first started it. Everybody told me I was crazy. I had no experience in setting up a website. And even when I got up the nerve to start charging people a membership fee, I had no idea that people would even pay for it.
In 2010, Yves met Mark Mendel, a real estate developer who partnered with Yves to make EcoHub a reality. Now, why did you do this? Why did you say this is a great idea?
Well, we knew that there was a need in the community. In this market, people are being laid off from their companies, they want a different career, and I think there's never been a time in America where entrepreneurship has been stronger.
Today, EcoHub houses 12 green companies, including Armor Graphics, which uses a green technology to make signs completely resistant to graffiti.
Basically turns a sign into a dry erase board.
I love that.
And so, therefore, the government doesn't have to spend more money on replacing the signs. It's easy to clean, it's sustainable, and good for the environment overall.
More mature companies, like publicly traded Envision Solar, also call EcoHub home.
This is definitely an example of relocating here, and you can have the CEO, Bob Noble, walking the hallways, meeting with some of the members, and they can say, "Bob, I'm having trouble with marketing. You're great at marketing. You were in New York Times twice last week. How do you do it?" Right? And he can just give, he's just so approachable and just, this is what I had to do, and he'll tell you. He's one of the top people that have inspired me and mentors me. You gotta have that tenacity. Gotta go after it.
Going after it was something Yves learned from his grandmother.
In Sacramento, where I was born and raised, she started up a very large nonprofit called Serene Family Services. And Serene Family Services was a variety of community-based organizations, but mostly it was a school for disabled kids. They actually had group homes for the kids.
His grandmother eventually bought 25 properties where challenged kids could learn. Yves volunteered in the nonprofit Real Estate and Social Organization from age 7.
She got awarded Citizen of the Year like 3 years in a row and all this kind of stuff. And one day she got really sick. And when she passed away, we found out that she died of asbestos poisoning. Yeah. And, you know, when you're a nonprofit, you have to do a lot of work yourself. So she was fixing a lot of these old homes herself and doing, you know, she was out there with the guys and all that kind of stuff. And I was 14 and I was at her funeral, and I just remember it clear as day. How could you have something in your house that could kill you? It just didn't make sense to me.
What did make sense to Yves? Being and promoting green and leading an organization like his grandmother's.
I did know from a very early age that I wanted to own my own business. I wanted to, you know, do things in the green way. And back then, I mean, it's kind of funny to say back then because I'm only 30. but then at that time, you know, I mean, nobody knew. Nobody knew. Nobody was running commercials, call this number and, you know, we'll file a lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. But I learned a lot from her.
Today, Yves has a daughter, Madeline, he hopes to inspire.
I'm an entrepreneur, and I would say that I want to pass on something to Madeline that she can either take over, because I always wanted to take over my grandmother's nonprofit. And I always had kind of like little daydreams about that. But that's what's there for me.
For the nation, EcoHub and movements like it will shift the economy.
This is part of our economic revival. This is the huge component. You know, this is not a stump speech from some politician, whether it's the president or it's some governor or whatever. It's what's really real on the ground. I definitely want to be in that next 500 list. You better believe it. And when we hit it, you know, we're gonna have a big party.
Okay, I'll be there.
You'll be there.